our Sustainability's Perspective series, which complement the Sustainability Awards 2020 and also the Sustainable Packaging Summit. We're sharing interviews with thought leaders from across the packaging value chain. Today, I'm delighted to speak with Guido Aufdemkamp, who is the Executive Director at Flexible Packaging Europe. He'll give us some insights into the sustainability and benefits of flexible packaging, and we'll also discuss some of the complexities and challenges around this versatile packaging material. So welcome Guido, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
So to start off with, could you tell us a bit more about Flexible Packaging Europe and the work you do there?
Yeah, Flexible Packaging Europe is the industry association representing the flexible packaging industry in Europe, and this is a wider Europe, so including Turkey, Russia, etc. So rather the economic Europe. What we do is we provide a lot of market information to our members, market analysis, etc. We also run a major network of food contact experts and provide a lot of informations and services around this part. Networking and conferences, another big aspect. And meanwhile, the biggest thing is sustainability and advocacy, all around sustainability, which is really a major part nowadays for all, but probably for us in particular. So that's kind of where we are working and serving our members in other parts of the industry.
Great, thank you. And how would you summarize the benefits of flexible packaging? What would you say makes it a resource-efficient packaging choice, and also what makes it a sustainable packaging choice?
Flexible packaging is a very interesting packaging concept because it is in its DNA to minimize the use of materials, and it's done via the combination of various materials, mainly plastic, paper, and/or aluminium, and in different formats. Always using the necessary properties of each material, combining it to a very material resource efficient solution so that we minimize the material usage from the beginning per se. And because in the start there is very little use of materials, there is also very little material volumes which we have to deal, or the society has to deal with afterwards in terms of collection, sorting, and recycling. And obviously that makes it per se, and as I said, it's in its DNA, quite a sustainable packaging solution, or at least providing a lot of sustainability features.
And could you tell us a bit more about Flexible Packaging Europe's sustainability vision and also guidance for industry activities?
We have been active in this field more than 15 years, and now in this summer we condensed everything of our work and our vision to something more serious, concrete, and that was endorsed by the entire membership in summer. And the vision is really to demonstrate our active role to achieve that flexible packaging allows the proper delivery of food, pharmaceuticals, and other essential products with a very limited amount of material used. So this is kind of all put into context, because packaging is not a product per se. It always comes, with the content, and therefore we cannot look at it too singly. And we want to be very active to achieve this vision of packaging and flexible packaging in Europe. And we will do this by 4 major areas. One is the designing flexible packaging for full effectiveness and a minimum environmental footprint. And here we're talking about eco-designing flexible packaging, essential functions, providing nutrition, health, hygiene and safety, minimize food waste. We all know this is a major contributor to climate change, etc. Do this with a holistic approach. Another area is we really want to have a circularity for flexible packaging. So packaging should never become any waste. We want that the recyclability is optimized, and here we initiated the project C-Flex, where now the entire value chain is active. The circularity can both achieved by redesign and innovation, not only in the packaging design but also in the reprocessing technologies, meaning infrastructure in general. And what is a precondition for all recycling and to achieve any circularity of flexible packaging is the collection of all flexible packaging materials. So this is really key. And it's a no-brainer, but it's important to state that also that we have a zero tolerance for any leakage and littering into the environment. This is an absolutely no-go, whether marine environment or just a natural environment, which then ends up in a marine environment. But this really has to tackle, so all packaging has to be collected. And we would like to speed up this entire process. We cannot do it alone, but we have to do it with cooperation with others on both sides, material producers, converters, fillers, brand owners, retailers, and society, plus waste management, industry, and society, so to say. So this is kind of the vision we are aiming at, and we feel that we are on the right track, and at least we have this full support of the membership to achieve this vision.
Thank you, Guido. And I wanted to delve a little bit deeper into this challenge of recyclability of flexible packaging, and also your work with C-Flex. Are there any sort of advances you can report, or any sort of, can you tell us a bit more about how you deal with this challenge?
Yeah, first of all, we really have to acknowledge that it's not yet widely recycled. All over Europe, there are some light towers where it is better than in other areas. However, we achieve advances via cooperation with fillers to understand their needs. C-Flex is also addressing a lot the end markets for recycled materials. We explore certain technologies to recycle flexible packaging and promote that towards the interested stakeholders, so that we gather more information. We are mapping out where flexible packaging is actually collected already and where it's not yet collected. And so here we are doing actually big steps in understanding a lot. Unfortunately, when it comes to waste management, there is no single market in Europe, so to say. This is kind of the biggest challenge we are facing. It's not just national differences, but even within a nation, a member state, there are also regional differences, which makes it all obviously more complicated. The other general problem with flexible packaging is always because it is so resource efficient, very little material is used. The collection is more challenging to gather these volumes for the recycling business. The recycling business is a more volume and weight driven business, and then a very light material is obviously a major challenge in all terms of operations, but also economics. And this is where we are working on a lot, and I think that is C-Flex achievement so far, that the entire value chain is interested, including all global brand owners. So this is kind of really a big thing.
It's definitely true that collaboration is key here, isn't it? So
and we are quite confident that in a couple of years' time, that already a lot of flexible packaging is already collected and therefore then sorted and recycled. And we hope, and this is kind of my personal vision, that in 10 years' time, we are not talking about this anymore, because it's just happening, to the full satisfaction. And then we probably just deal with smaller technological achievements or evolutions rather than, setting up a new infrastructure for everything. Yeah. So.
Great. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Fingers crossed. Yeah, and could you talk us through some of the most relevant legislative developments for flexible packaging? Obviously, there's been quite a lot changed there as well.
Yeah, and contrary to what people might think, the legislators are very active, both on European and national level. And the most relevant developments for us is the revision of the Packaging Waste Directive, including the revision of the essential requirements and also the measures to reduce packaging waste. And we believe that flexible packaging can play a major role in achieving those goals, in particular the latter with reducing packaging waste, but also in the essential requirements where those have to be flexible enough to also provide, and this is part of all legislation, it should be not too strict in terms of providing the very tight framework where companies can operate in, but rather set the goals and then leave it to the innovation of the industry, of the companies to really achieve those goals, and probably even go further than those goals, because this has always been proven that it always can go a little bit further. However, we need this flexibility to innovation. The other big part is the national implementation of the EU plastic levy. This is unfortunately not based on the single market approach. So therefore, we will see a lot of different ways how member states implement this EU plastic levy. And here we are really seeking more harmonization across the member states so that we keep the single market with a plain level field of competition. That is also important. On top, nobody is yet really sure what the national plastic taxes will look like. There are a lot of discussions, and this is again referring to my former point to, we need harmonization there, that not one country's production or products are discriminated against another country's products. So we need the single market. In particular, flexible packaging is a bit like the food industry. It is the domestic market is the European market. Because it's transported because of its single weight, low weight across Europe, and for optimized production, etc. And last but not least, the legislative development we are also looking carefully after is the eco-modulation of the EPR fees. And that is again something where we are seeking harmonization across Europe, or kind of a harmonization, so that we are facing with similar challenges at least, and can use the power of the innovation to achieve those goals all over.
So important points there, definitely. So in conclusion, what would you say, what do you feel needs to happen generally to facilitate circular, flexible packaging solutions?
What we mainly need is a bit of time and flexibility to adapt. So far, flexible packaging, because it was not recycled, and now it has to be recycled, even in a material way. So not just with energy recovery, which was formerly a good option and an accepted option. And now we need some time to adapt and also to set up the infrastructure, which we cannot do alone. I was referring to that earlier with the waste management infrastructure. And here we are asking the legislators to give us a little bit of time to achieve the new goals, and that with the too tight framework of legislation, innovation is killed, which might lead to unintended consequences if current flexible packaging solutions are substituted by other, probably more mono-rigid solutions, which might be more recyclable, but are, at the end of the day, not more environmental friendly. And so this is where we really have to be careful, and legislators have to be careful to keep the resource efficiency of flexible packaging as one of the achievements applied already, and to set up the infrastructure for waste management. Here we are asking and seeing the possibilities that the Green Deal funds for the EU Green Deal, and also the Corona recovery funds, which are supposed to invest in a sustainable future and green technologies, and setting up more infrastructure for waste management with existing and newly developed technology will really succeed to that flexible packaging becomes acknowledged by society, legislators, that the customers can use it again. Another point might be also to look into this flexibility, for example, for refill systems and reuse systems, where flexible packaging can actually enable those systems. An example is a refill pouch with detergent for a rigid dispensing unit, which you can always refill. The flexible packaging pouch is not reusable, but recyclable eventually. But even this is part of the reuse system, and so therefore we ask to acknowledge this, and might even give a credit for those flexible packaging parts, which are then enabling actually those refill systems. So, and we feel quite confident that legislators acknowledge all of those requests, because at the end of the day, we have a lot of scientific proofs and data available, and when we discuss with legislators, they fully understand and are surprised, and because they usually don't know. And now we are spreading the word and hoping that this will reflect also the future legislation.
Thank you, Guido. Yes, definitely some good points there. It's good to keep the big picture in mind, and spreading the word is also important, and we're also trying to do our part here a little bit. So yes, that's all we've got time for today. Our Sustainable Packaging Summit has now finished, but we'll continue the discussion in 2021 with more interactive panels, interview and commentary in the new year. Subscribe to Packaging Europe or follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter to keep up to date and make sure you don't miss anything. So thank you so much, Guido, for joining me today, and thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in.